What you're seeing right now is a 13-year-old girl pitched to Jimmy Fallon on national television. Yes, Jimmy is wearing a helmet for wiffle ball. And while this girl is completely and utterly destroying Jimmy at wiffle ball, he shouldn't really feel too bad about it. Because the reason she's here in the first place is because destroying people on the mound has kind of become her thing. Meet Mo'ne Davis, the first girl to ever earn a win as a pitcher in the Little League World Series. And she's done a whole lot more than that in her baseball life. Part of why she's a trailblazer is obvious. A girl playing baseball, let alone dominating, tends to stand out. Baseball is a sport that has seen tremendous strides for growth with women in the industry over its history, but has made very slow progress over the years in getting women on the field as players alongside male counterparts compared to other sports. Babe Ruth once publicly said he thought women playing baseball every day would kill them. We had to have formal legal rulings to get girls allowed to play Little League baseball in the first place. Needless to say, the road was very tough for Mo'ne Davis to even get on this mound before proving she could throw a pitch. But throw a pitch, she most definitely could. Her fastball at just 13 years old was clocked at 71 miles an hour, the equivalent of a 93 mile an hour heater from MLB distance if you equate the reaction time each batter has. That's harder than the average fastballs of Marcus Stroman, Chris Bassett, and Josiah Gray for reference. And her curveball had some bite to it. You need to understand right off the bat that she was not a gimmick here. She really belonged, and pitched like it. Here, I'll give you a great case-in-point example. Mo'ne strikes this kid out in this at-bat.
And she picks up her first strikeout of the game. Robert Hassel is gone.
Baseball fans might recognize his name, Robert Hassel. Robert Hassel wound up becoming a professional baseball player, and he got traded for Juan Soto. That's who she's competing against as an equal in the 2014 Little League World Series. It's cool to just be in that situation, though. I remember when I played Little League dreaming of being on a team good enough to take the trip to Williamsport, Pennsylvania and compete. I mean, how could you not, with that Phineas and Ferb intro?
Little League World Series in Williamsport, PA to try and get on ESPN. Like maybe hitting a home run or throwing a furball or making the crowd do the way.
But you know what really makes you stand out and get put on ESPN as a kid? Being great in the Little League World Series.
How about my girl Mo'ne Davis? She was dealing. Oh, the change of pace. Let's start changing the eye angle. Mo'ne. Oh, yes. Man, that's some sweet motion. Davis goes the whole way. 6 strikeouts. Pennsylvania. Not a long road trip for them. They're heading to Williamsport. And again, coverage begins Thursday on the ESPN.
You noticed that? Mo'ne, representing her local Pennsylvania Little League in a regional championship, put together a complete game shutout, only giving up 3 hits and striking out 6. Stepping up huge in the clutch to send her team to every kid's dream tournament. Being a girl who pitches a shutout in the biggest baseball game of her life to send her team to a nationally televised tournament is a great human interest story, especially for the sports landscape of 2014. This is before Caitlin Clark and the onslaught of women's college basketball getting into the mainstream. This is before we had female MLB coaches and announcers and a GM. We're still firmly in a world where "you throw like a girl" was just about the most condescending thing you could say to someone in baseball, at least in terms of how it was used. Come on, we're 5.5 years before NBA players are still using phrases like female tendencies and very woman-like to take shots at other players.
A lot of female tendencies on the court, flopping and throwing his head back the entire game. And that's how he carried him, man. It's just very woman-like.
Which is why it was kind of cool to see it used in the reverse context when Mo'ne burst onto the scene. Mo'ne simply being on the mound for a setting like this in the first place was trailblazing enough, and then sprinkle on the fact that she pitched really well. The hype was most definitely building, and deservedly so. Now representing the state of Pennsylvania, the Mid-Atlantic region, and really women around the world who dreamed of being a baseball player, Monet was going to take the mound for her team's first game of the big tournament on August 15th, 2014, looking to set the tone straight away. And what if I told you she did it all over again? Even better.
I talked to people about Monet Davis, and they say that she is unfazed. There's a curveball right there.
3-2 fastball, money gone, and fastball. Finley looked like he was swinging for the downs, and Monet Davis has picked up her third strikeout.
She is not just out there just throwing. You've seen the quick pitch. She's got the curveball. You can see the split right there, Berkey. She has been as advertised.
Gone. Barrett Smith today, and now a K. And that was huge for Monet Davis. Everyone, including those on the hill, on their feet. It's over. Complete game for Monet Davis. Unbelievable back-to-back shutouts. One to get the team to Williamsport, and one to get him off on the right foot.
Complete domination. All of the stats were better. Monet Davis was getting better as the lights around her were getting brighter, becoming the first girl to ever earn a win as a pitcher in the Little League World Series, and by extension, the first girl to ever pitch a shutout in the tournament's history. A phenomenal achievement that was very quickly becoming the biggest story in baseball, maybe the biggest story in all of American sports. She wasn't done adding to her tournament resume, picking up a base hit too in her next game, but really, the hype exploded after that second shutout. Very few people know, or frankly care, that her next start of the tournament in the semifinals resulted in a bad outing on the mound. She had already become a superstar and a role model, maybe the biggest one in all of baseball in 2014, and she completely deserved it. She earned support from Andrew McCutchen, Marcus Stroman, Mike Trout, Kevin Durant, Ellen DeGeneres, and First Lady Michelle Obama. Over the next several weeks and months, she was interviewed all over the place. She shoved against Jimmy Fallon, she threw out the first pitch at a World Series game, Spike Lee directed her behind the camera, she got her own shoe, she was on the front page of the primary Philadelphia newspaper for 5 straight days, she was awarded an ESPY, her jersey was put into the Baseball Hall of Fame, she played in the NBA Celebrity Game and cooked up Kevin Hart like he was a Spider-Man NPC. No, like actually, she looked great in this too. And this whole story really was unprecedented. A youth baseball star had never been this big in America. She very likely might have been the most popular baseball player in the country at 13 years old. It really might have been between her and Derek Jeter for most talked about player in 2014. You know, movie star Derek Jeter. It was unavoidable to see her story. And as someone who's only a year older than her who lived through this, it really was impossible to go about life as a baseball fan and not see or hear about Monet Davis. A kid roughly the same age as you being on the cover of Sports Illustrated is just like the coolest thing at the time. When school started back up a couple weeks after the Little League World Series and teachers find out you like baseball, you quickly get asked,
"Oh yeah, did you hear about that girl pitcher?"
Like, no, I live under a rock. Yes, I know about Monet Davis, and she rules. And most rational people with a brain completely supported why she was so popular. It really was one of the easiest stories to rally around baseball had in a very long time. And who she was a big part of that. A college baseball player, a few months after the tournament, fired off a really stupid and crude anti-Monet Davis tweet. Without showing it, let's just say it was about the most insulting and disrespectful thing someone could say about her. And definitely the dumbest. Least of all, coming from another ball player. He was dismissed from his team. It was so bad. The player had support to come back and play though. The university he played for said so. Take a guess why the university was so open about someone defending this kid who said some incredibly foul things about a 13-year-old girl. Because Monet Davis is who reached out to defend him. An unfathomable demonstration of character from a kid who hadn't even started high school yet. You want to know what the problem is with kids who become really famous really fast? they typically don't handle it as well as Monet Davis did. In retrospect, Monet handled becoming a superstar essentially off the back of 2 games she pitched remarkably well. Really, I can't imagine what it would have been like for me having my whole life blown up that quickly. It really did just snowball in the amount of time it took for her to pitch 2 games. But in the midst of all this, she maintained a calm demeanor.
Because I wouldn't think about who was watching, and I wouldn't think about all the criticism that people would be giving you. I just thought that just had to go out there and have fun. I mean, if you made it to Williamsport, that's pretty much everyone's dream, and you just wanted to go there and have fun, and that's what we did, and we didn't worry about who was watching.
Never once acted egotistical or full of herself.
How does this recognition feel for you? You're already given praise by the President of the United States and now by Sports Illustrated. How does that feel?
It's great. I mean, I just met the President and the First Lady, and they told me that I inspired a lot of people and to just be me. So, I mean, just from the President, it can't get any better, and just to win this award is amazing for the past couple months.
And seemed to completely understand why she was receiving so much attention, both in driving ridiculous viewership to everything she did in sports and in life. That's kept on going for the next decade. Monet has always struck the world as someone with a lot of aspirations. She's pursued broadcasting, front office work, and team ownership, all of which she's earned great progress in. She's done broadcasting for the DC Grays Collegiate Summer Ball team, shout out Collegiate Summer Ball by the way, and shown talent in a TV analyst type capacity role as well. She wowed the LA Dodgers in earning an internship with the team, a full circle moment for sure there, and is a grad student at Columbia studying sports management. Oh yeah, that doesn't even mention that she played Division I college softball too, as a shortstop, not a pitcher. She was good enough to earn a chance as a D1 infielder, like Jacob deGrom in reverse, and her bio on Hampton University's softball page has no mention of the Little League World Series. Her athletic career even progressed past the need to harp on something she did when she was 13 for the rest of her life. Hold that thought in the back of your mind, by the way. And she picked Hampton University for what it offered in academia and career potential, not just sports.
You know, I was looking more into the school as the school for education and not for, sports. I wanted to choose a school that, would set me up for success and for my future.
It's extremely clear that she has a very, very, very bright future ahead of her. Only time will show what path she fully goes down, but needless to say, she's proven to have a good head on her shoulders with the potential to blow all of her existing achievements out of the water. And all she really has to do is stay the course and not let any outside pressure or influence get in her way. And part of that stems from something she's understood since bursting onto the scene. Steve Bandura had been coaching her in multiple different sports since 2008. His son played for the same team as Monet in Williamsport as well, and he was a huge part of the local youth baseball scene in her area. We live in a world where the worst thing about youth sports tends to be the adults. Adults who care way more about using youth sports as vanity projects than to give the kids special memories. Bandura understood Monet was going through something special, but he didn't want that to be all she ever achieved, even right then and there.
Yeah, I've done so much, but that's not it. I have a bigger purpose. And my baseball coach, he always said this. He's like, I never want you to, I never want 13 to be the peak of your life. And once he said that, I was like, all right, I need to keep going. I can't stop now. It's tough. It's tough to hear. It was tough to hear. He was like, I don't want you to be, someone on the corner, trying to holding a magazine up. It's like, hey, this is me. I need some help. He's like, I don't want you to be like that. I'm going to help you in as many ways as I can.
Both Monet and Coach Bandura have echoed this sentiment for years after. Monet wants to accomplish a lot more than a couple Little League shutouts. And quite honestly, I'm proud of almost nothing from when I was her age. I strive to be a better person than when I was 13 every single day of my life. So, to still be 13 years old in most of the world's minds, I empathized with her pushing so hard to achieve as an adult. And I give Coach Bandura serious props for being human enough to realize her interests came before any vain youth baseball success he could have derived off that moment. It would have been so easy for him to take advantage of having probably the biggest child baseball star of all time at his fingertips. But he didn't. He hates the idea of her future living off her past. Her childhood past at that. From the perspective I gained diving into this story, I'm extremely confident Monet will have a very successful adult life. She's got way too much going on not to. Monet, if you're listening to this though, no pressure, you do you. And I for one also hope that the peak of her life isn't 13 years old. I just can't wait to see how she tops it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing to the channel for more videos like this.